What's up? Welcome to another edition of the Sports Office. We are in the house tonight. We got like high leverage basketball going on. I mean, we're going to talk NFL coming up in just a couple of minutes, but we got UDM playing tonight to get to the NCAA tournament. Amazing. It's like one and done for everybody else, unless you've already locked up a tournament berth. So it's a great time of year.
It's very exciting. I mean, it's exciting when you see a local team right there on the cusp of getting in.
First time since 2012 if they do it tonight.
Well, especially a young team that hasn't been good. I don't say a young team. A team that hasn't been good. I mean, 2 years ago they won one game with Mike Davis as the head coach. Okay? And then Mark Montgomery comes in last year and wins 8 games. And then this year he's got him within one game tonight against Wright State of getting into the NCAA tournament. They have beaten. They split during the regular season. So that obviously works. We should tell you tonight's show is brought to you by Chevy Detroit. Together, let's drive. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. There it is right there. Boom, we got that.
All right.
And we got that. Let's bring in our guest who joins us tonight as well, Jeff Rieger. What's up, Rieger?
He's in the car.
From the Rieger Mobile, no less. You got us?
Uh-oh.
We're working on it.
I don't know if he hears us.
He's smiling.
He's smiling, though.
Can you hear us? I don't know if he can hear us.
We're getting there.
Can you hear us? I don't know if he can hear us.
You want me to talk a little weather?
Standing
by.
Operator error. Now you got us, Rieger?
I got you now. Now that was
What's going on, man?
How you guys doing?
We're good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you guys as well.
We got a lot going on. So if anybody listens to Rieger on the air, which I know everybody does with Wojo nightly and sometimes just Rieger, you know that Rieger can get fired up about some things. So if I just opened the floor to you with everything going on in the world of sports right now, and I said, Rieger, what has you fired up? What would you say?
Well, many things, actually. But
that's what we count on.
It's not Tarek Skubal and the whole silly World Baseball Classic, and it's not Tom Izzo whining. I think it's Brad Holmes, and I guess I have a question because I don't know. What's the plan here, Dan? 22 of the 30 premier free agents already off the board. We're led to believe they have no money. Do they have money? Isaiah Pacheco and Cade Mays are fine enough, but what else are you going to do for the rest of what you need? I am perplexed about what's going on with the Lions. I would say that has me fired up, and I don't think I'm alone.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting, and here's the thing. They need bodies. We know that. It's not like we're saying you just have to get better. And look, I think we've seen enough to understand that there will be a process here, and they will bring some guys in. Whether it's by trade or still some veteran free agents, or they have 9 draft picks at this point, or whatever it is. It is interesting, though, because you look at it, and, okay, let's say they signed RB2 today. They signed QB2 today. They brought back Rock Yassin as well. But now you look at it, we know they still need a tackle. That could easily be the first-round draft pick. That might be either a right tackle or a left tackle, depending upon what that is. And Panay might be right, might be left. We don't know. Defensive line, they need bodies. You lost a rotational piece with Lopez going back to Arizona. Certainly defensive end on the other side of Aiden is a question where you need probably defensive end number 2 starting opposite Aiden. And then whoever's going to be, there's not much of a rotation with Aiden because he plays all the time. But whoever's going to be in that rotation at defensive end. And then linebackers, you signed Rodrigo today, but you still have basically 3 under contract at this point. And then we don't know what they know about the secondary. We figure there might be questions with Terrion. We don't know that for a fact. And then the safeties, they have information about their health that we don't have. So, yeah, I agree that there's got to be bodies added to this depth chart. It's a question of where those bodies going to come from now that we're seeing some of the heavy traffic done in free agency.
But how good do those bodies need to be, I guess, is my question. Because I was listening to Rich Eisen today, right? And I thought he made an interesting point. He said he believes that the core of this team is good enough to go to the Super Bowl. He's talking about Hutch and Goff and St. Brown and JMO. And he also believes that they are going to clear some cap space and use it to re-sign. I like to call them the core four. I know that Toronto used to call them the core four, and that failed. They don't have a core four anymore, so I figured I'd steal it. But obviously we know that Brad wants to sign Laporta and Gibbs and Campbell and who else am I missing? Branch, right?
Yes.
But is the core of this team surrounded by whoever else you're going to surround it by, and you just went down the laundry list of everything they need, are they going to be okay? Are they going to be good enough to get to where fans want them to get to, which is a Super Bowl, a place that Brad Holmes said the window is still wide open for? And I think that is kind of where the angst comes from, because there's still so many holes. And you're right, they will find guys. They'll find bodies. The question is, will they be better than last year? Unless you're just going to say, well, the offensive line is already better because your center's better than Graham Glasgow, and you trust in him to get another guard, help with the tackle, and then maybe if you find somebody, you spend big for somebody opposite of Hutch, a Trey Hendrickson perchance, still out there, market plummeting, maybe that's enough. But I think the angst is, where will the bodies come from to kind of build around the core?
I think the pressure is high on Brad Holmes now, because he's going to have to draft as well as he's drafted in previous years and find these under the radar free agents now because of all the money they've had to spend to keep the players they currently have. And
but you know that going in.
But the prices are so high from all the guys that signed yesterday. It's not as if they could just cut some check, and get some depth that way. There's going to be a lot of pressure for them to get it done, to surround that core with players who can help.
Yeah, you absolutely have to do that, and you have to draft well. And when you dedicate $1 billion or whatever they've done to retaining your guys, you understand that you're limiting your ability to move around. And yeah, I do think there'll be a restructure and there'll be some cap room and there'll be other guys that are signed. But I do find myself at times conflicted when I look at it, Rieger, because I look at some of the prices for some of the guys that were paid over the past couple of days, and it's ridiculous.
Like a Linderbaum.
I look at what some of these teams do, and I feel like a lot of times 2 years from now, they're getting out from under these contracts. 2 years from now, they're saying, well, this guy didn't quite work out the way that we thought he would. The Patriots last year, they did a nice job of building. Had an easy schedule. And actually kind of caught luck in the playoffs as well with the situations that they ran into. But obviously, free agency to me, with the times that we've seen Jacksonville try to do it, and Tennessee try to do it, and Miami try to do it, building teams through free agency doesn't work. That wouldn't be what Brad Holmes is doing. But I do think when I see Romeo Doubs getting $70 million over 4 years, that gives me pause. And when I see some of the numbers that Kwity Paye got, gives me pause. And some of the guys that I see around the league. But it doesn't change this conversation.
You still need to do it.
That the depth chart right now is not anywhere near complete. And there have to be some guys added. It can't just be the draft. There have to be some guys added with NFL experience that are going to help fill out that depth chart.
And the question is, I guess, just where does it come from? You're absolutely right about free agent. Like, you're stuck in the middle of a sticky situation, right? Because you're right. You don't want to spend Tyler Linderbaum money for anybody, way overpriced. And then you say to yourself, all right, we're stuck in a bad contract, as you just said. But you still need a lot of quality bodies to surround who you already have on this team. And like, I was just looking today before I came on, like Reek Woolen, the Seattle cornerback, former Pro Bowler. What's that?
15 mil.
Yeah, 15 mil for 1 year. Like, where are you on a contract like that, considering you need a corner? And I get it. Howie Roseman got him, and I don't know exactly what happened there. But it's stuff like that where you're like, okay, well, that would have helped immensely.
Yeah, I think I look at more like a Nahshon Wright who got 5 for 1. And I say, that might have been interesting. A guy who kind of had a breakout year last year. And I'm sure they have tape that we haven't even looked at that maybe some of that was flukish, but a guy that had a really nice year last year and stepped up. That doesn't seem like an overspend to me, and more in the neighborhood that you might feel comfortable rolling the dice a little bit. If you asked me about Rick Woolen getting $15 million after he got the penalty against the Rams in the playoff game, I might not have felt great about it. But and he also seems to be a guy that has not played as well as he did early in his career.
Right.
Which is the reason he's signing a one-year deal. But it's still 1 year, $15 million, which tells you there's some respect there. To your question, Rieger, about the core and about the team and about whether or not they're good enough, here's where my questions come in. It's really hard for me to answer that, not knowing what the status is of not only two of the best players on this team, but two of the best playmakers in this league, and that's Branch and Kirby Joseph. And to me, that is such a big part of the equation, not knowing where those guys are in their ability. Now, look, Branch is on an Achilles tendon return, which is probably going to be October, November, something like that. Kirby's a big question. Kirby's a ball hawk. Last year, there were so many times in games that I saw passes just, the Jordan Love, arm punts that I thought Kirby would have definitely run under that thing. But he wasn't out there. And that's such a big difference for this team. So that's one of the places that my eye goes first, is that safety position, and not knowing what the status is with those guys, because I think that's a massive part of the equation.
I think it's a great point. I really do, because I've grown accustomed to believing, and maybe I'm wrong here, that next year your entire secondary might look different, because Terrion Arnold dealing with what he's dealing right now, and let's be honest, he's not a great player, but he, of course, can get better. I think DJ Reed in the mix wasn't good enough last year, but maybe you blame the injury for that. But I think you hit the nail on the head. If you can get at least Brian Branch back with some kind of consistency, that solves a decent amount of problems in your defense, because your defensive line is going to hopefully be better than it looks right now. It has to be. But I think the Kirby Joseph one is the real curious thing, because he was at the Michigan game the other day, tossing out T-shirts. He looked fine. I don't know that he could cover a route at this juncture, though. And if you lose Kirby, then what do you do? How do you replace a player like that? And again, to your original point, which is a very good one, you overpay for these free agents, and I don't think Brad wants to, nor do they have the money to with what they want to do. But then where else are you going to get quality players to help this team to the point that you need to help them?
It's a great question, because you do need players. But I think if we look at Brad's history, he doesn't go out and spend big on free agents. Okay, DJ Reed last year, Reeder $27 million the year before that. It's just not been a way that they do business. But it doesn't change the conversation, and I know I'm kind of playing both sides here, that they do need bodies. Now, maybe the market doesn't develop for Al-Quadin Muhammad, and you bring back a guy who had double-digit sacks last year.
Sure.
And then you supplement that by bringing in another defensive end who maybe the market hasn't developed for. I mean, there are guys out there with skins on the wall that haven't gotten the deal that they're looking for yet, be it a Bosa or one of those guys that haven't seen it yet. And then they do have a number of draft picks that could end up being trade pieces. And I think sometimes we're surprised by what a draft pick can fetch if a team wants to get rid of a guy. And I think they'll probably work it that way. I guess a long way of saying, too, I have faith that he's not going to leave the cupboard bare, because he knows that he has holes. I'm as intrigued as you as to where those players will come from.
I think it's a great point. I do. That's my biggest worry. That's my biggest. He's not going to be delinquent in, all right, obviously we're going to go to war with what we have. The players will come from someplace. I just don't know where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I guess the other question, too, is, will the division look different? We think. I know everybody loves to tout the last place schedule, which is consisted of, 3 games. But last year, this Lions
first
team,
place schedule.
Very true, but last year they lost to Minnesota twice, and they lost to the Steelers, and those are games they usually don't lose. So you do wonder, can they fix everything to get back to the place they were 2 years ago at least? I'm not saying they got to go 15-2, but to get back in that NFC championship conversation.
I do think the division looks different. Green Bay has taken on water. I mean,
They
if you
got
look
rid of
at-
a bunch of guys.
Yeah, they've lost some dudes. There's no doubt about that. Minnesota, question at quarterback. Is Kyler
Huge
Murray
question.
going to be the answer? And then they're lopping off guys on their defense because they have cap issues.
A pretty
And-
good defense, yeah.
Yeah, and talking about, trading other guys because they may have to deal with some things. So I think it's going to be interesting. Chicago, look, they've got talent. They are good, but I still think you question, okay, other side of the equation, they've got a first place schedule, and can you go out and win 7 or 8 games in the final 2 minutes again like you did this year, or are you so good next year that you don't have to?
They got
But it
Khalif.
also, yeah, they did. They got Khalil, but it also
Yeah.
seems like they haven't really enhanced the defense like we thought they would. And of course, there's a lot of time left. But
Very glad they didn't get Max Crosby.
Yes, of course they went for him. They had the 2 first-round picks on
Yeah.
the table, and the Raiders are like, nah, Baltimore's are a little bit better. We're going to take theirs.
Yeah.
So, well, we will see, and maybe I'm overreacting. I talked about this today before I came out with you guys, and a lot of callers are like, dude, shut the hell up. It's 2 days, and the year hasn't even started yet. But to my point, I feel, is free agency is one place to get better when you have
Yeah.
as many holes as the Lions do. And they've been not as active. And the pieces they picked up, like I think Cade Mays could be a very nice pickup, and he's much better than what you had there before. But you're trying to get back to that O-line you had a couple years ago. I know it's impossible when you lose a Decker and when you lose a Ragnow.
And you lose a Zeitler.
Yeah, well, that's true, too. Hey, he's still a free agent, right? Go get him.
Yeah. Listen, there's no doubt it's not a great feeling when it's this time in the NFL, toss to break. There's not. They wrote me a note on my football that says toss to break. There's no doubt, Rieger, when it's this time of year and free agency's going on and everybody else is winning the league in March and you're kind of not doing it, although we shouldn't diminish what Cade Mays is. That's a big piece for them. That it's an uneasy feeling. But I think we're going to see some things happen here in the next couple of days. So let's see what happens. I'm going to listen to you on the radio yelling about it, and I want to hear people call up and tell you to shut the hell up.
I'm going to definitely yell a lot.
Rieger, great stuff, man. We appreciate the time. Thank you very much. There he is, Jeff
Top
Rieger
job.
joining us right there. Listen to him on 97.1 The Ticket. We are coming right back. Much more coming up. Luderman's here. Is it a weather night? Not really.
Late tonight. It's going to be overnight. We're going to have a chance for strong storms.
We'll talk about it on the other side. Stick with us. All right, welcome back to the Sports Office. Hey, don't forget you can join us tonight. What you do is click on that QR code right there. That'll get you into the Zoom room. You can put the meeting numbers in the meeting spot, and that'll get you to the Zoom room as well.
Spoken
Does
like
that
an
make
old
sense?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get off
By the
my
way, I
lawn.
have breaking news.
Oh, what do we
I
have?
have breaking news that there's now only one Big Ten men's basketball team that's 1-0 in the Big Ten tournament.
That would be Maryland,
Wow.
Well, hey, it is.
because they had the honor of playing in the game that
they had-
nobody wants to play
They
in.
had the honor of playing
which
in
is
the 5 o'clock Eastern
Tuesday game.
17-16 game.
And who did they beat?
So
Oregon.
your proud program plays in the 5 o'clock Tuesday game, and Michigan and Michigan State aren't even traveling for
Not
2
even-
days probably.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's an off year. We were,
I can't. It is weird because
It's
Maryland has a good program, but
Yeah.
Oregon too. I
Yeah.
mean, both those teams. You look at Maryland and Oregon playing on day one of the Big Ten tournament. It's like, really?
But the Big Ten is bigger.
It is bigger.
well,
It's much bigger than 10.
Yes,
They didn't stop. They kept going.
that's right.
They kept going.
well, coming up later, I believe Penn State Northwestern, the 18-15 game.
Look at
coming up
Luderman's
later.
Those are my guys,
fighting
man.
Nittany Lions.
Yeah.
I got blue and white coming out of this these veins
Fighting
here.
Nittany Lions. By the way, UDM, we're going to have highlights later tonight. Like we said, one win away from the NCAA tournament. It was 15-12. They were trailing midway through the first half against Wright State. So we'll talk about that coming up as well. We got Wings and Pistons tonight as well. Pistons have lost 4 in a row. Be a good idea to win tonight. You're playing the Nets. They're terrible. Just win, right?
They need a win. I would say for their mojo, peace of mind. You said it yesterday. Every team has a skid at some point in the year. I mean, that's just true. But it's ready for this skid to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't mess around, and there'd be reason to be a little concerned should they lose tonight, but I don't think.
If they lose tonight, there'd be significant. New Jersey's what is Brooklyn like? 17 New Jersey. Showing my age. Who do they
Richard
have?
Jefferson's not
Fats
coming
Taylor
in.
playing for them. That's an old net. Billy
Old school.
Paltz.
Yeah, there you go.
Billy
God.
Paltz. There's one. Dr. J was a net way back in the day
Wow.
before the NBA. Remember that?
The fish that saved Pittsburgh.
There you go,
Dr.
right
J.
there. But no, they're like 17 and 47 or something
Yeah, they're
crazy
bad,
like that. So just win tonight. Just stop the losing streak and win. And the Wings pick up 2 points. Everything is huge
Yeah,
for these
on the
guys.
road at Florida. Florida's a desperate team. It's 0-0 right now, halfway through the first period. So
Florida,
Larkin,
not the same team we've seen
No,
by
and-
any stretch.
and Larkin not playing tonight, but he's on the trip, so that's good news.
Yeah, that is good news for the Wings. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. Join us. We got time for a Zoom call. When we come back, just click on that link. Your thoughts, biggest sports. Listen, man, this is a big week with everything we just talked about. We got good stuff, and Luderman's watching the weather tonight.
I do. I am. I
You
mean,
stay until like
I'm,
3 a.m.
I'm glued to the radar.
Yeah. I'd like to see you do a stream for like 4 hours tonight.
I'm going to be like this for like 5 hours, just watching the radar.
We'll be right back. So Rieger mentioned the World Baseball Classic and Scooble and all that stuff. He decided not to pitch again. Paul Skeens last night was outstanding.
He looks
good.
like he's in command when he's on the
He's
mound.
a big dude. Ball comes out of his hand like a rocket, and it's fun watching him pitch.
How many
Yes.
more years do you got him?
Until he leaves as a free agent in
Right.
Pittsburgh, yeah, and goes someplace where he can make real money.
But he's
so what
that-
is it? 6 years of service or something like that? Whatever it is.
It's a lot.
So you got
Scooble,
2 or 3
Skeens. I
left?
mean, when those guys are out there and they're dealing,
Yeah,
it's
tough to handle.
tough to handle.
Tough to handle.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting watching this World Baseball Classic unfold, and we'll see it all on Fox, which is really cool. And last night's game was supposed to be, one of the games because Mexico had beaten the U.S. 3 out of the 4 times they've played, but the U.S. handled them. So we'll see where it goes from
Yeah,
here.
got a
And
little
there'll be some
close
good
late.
stuff. Yeah,
Got a little close
Got a
late.
little interesting. There was a tying run on it once or
Matty
twice.
Boyd struggled a little bit.
Yeah, we were kind of screaming at the TV, Matt, we want to go home. Can you
Yes.
finish this up so that we can go and do the news and then go home? So, all right, that's going to do it. You got an eye on the weather all night. Anybody who wants to know what's going on, you're going to
Fox
be here.
2 weather app, man.
There
That's
it
where
is.
it's at.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at.
There it is.
All right, we're out of here. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Sports Office. We will see you again tomorrow night.